April 12th, 2026. Bristol Motor Speedway. 505 laps of pure chaos, strategy, and pressure. On paper, this race looked like a Kyle Larson masterclass, one of the most dominant performances of the entire NASCAR Cup Series season. But when it ended, the result told a very different story. Larson climbed out of his number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet in third place. Not first, not second, third. And the way it happened would leave fans questioning how a driver can lead nearly the entire race and still lose it. Because the numbers are brutal. 284 laps led, a sweep of both opening stages, total control for long stretches. At multiple points, Larson didn't just look fast, he looked untouchable. But NASCAR doesn't reward dominance. It rewards execution when everything falls apart at the end. And Bristol delivered exactly that. From the start, Larson came into the race still searching for his first win of the 2026 season. There was no panic in the Hendrick camp, but the pressure was slowly building. 6 races in, no victories, but consistent speed. The kind of speed that usually turns into wins. Bristol was supposed to be the breakthrough. Starting from 8th position, Larson wasted no time. Within just a handful of laps, he carved through traffic and moved into contention. And once he got clean air, the race changed. The number 5 car came alive. He took control early, won Stage 1, and then absolutely dominated Stage 2, leading almost every lap in a stretch that felt like a statement to the entire field. For a moment, it looked like the race was already decided. But behind him, another driver was quietly building something dangerous. Ryan Blaney. Blaney had the fastest car on raw pace. The problem wasn't speed, it was execution. Every time he gained ground, pit road took it away. Slow stops, lost positions, and wasted opportunities kept him from turning speed into control. Even Larson admitted after the race that he knew Blaney was the real threat. If everything came together for the number 12 team, they would be almost impossible to hold off. And that was only part of the story. Because while Larson and Blaney were fighting at the front, something else was developing deeper in the field. Ty Gibbs. At first, Gibbs was not a factor. He started strong but fell back early, struggling to stay inside the top 10. But what made his race dangerous wasn't his start, it was his patience. Lap by lap, he climbed forward, quietly, consistently, without panic, without mistakes. And while the leaders were burning through tires, pit cycles, and pressure, Gibbs was simply waiting for the race to come to him. Then everything changed. During Stage 2, Larson made a critical mistake. A radio miscommunication made him believe there were fewer laps left in the stage than there actually were. Thinking the run was almost over, he pushed harder than planned. He burned more tire than intended, used more aggression than necessary. And even though he still won the stage, the long-term cost was already locked in. It didn't show immediately, but it would later. As the race moved into its final phase, Bristol stopped being about dominance and started becoming about survival. Larson still led. Blaney was still fast. But now Ty Gibbs was fully in the fight. And then came the turning point. With fewer than 25 laps to go, a late caution completely reset the race. Strategy decisions that would define the outcome were now unavoidable. 3 different approaches. Ty Gibbs stayed out on old tires, choosing track position over speed. Kyle Larson came down pit road for 2 tires, betting on a balance between grip and position. Ryan Blaney took 4 fresh tires, gambling on maximum speed. And just like that, the race stopped being about who had been best all day. It became about who made the right call in the final moment. When the restart came, Gibbs was in the lead but on worn tires that had nearly 100 laps of wear. Behind him, 2 drivers with fresher rubber and more speed were charging hard. Larson quickly moved forward. Blaney surged even faster. It didn't take long for Gibbs to go from leading the race to fighting just to survive it. But Bristol is never simple. Just when it looked like the fresh tires would take over, another caution came out with only a few laps remaining. The race was sent into overtime. Everything reset again. One final sprint. No margin for error. Gibbs still led. Larson and Blaney lined up right behind him. The tire advantage was clear, but so was the pressure. When the green flag dropped, chaos erupted. Blaney attacked immediately. Larson followed. Gibbs defended every inch of the track, refusing to give up the lead he had fought his way into. Lap after lap, corner after corner, the 3 drivers fought for control of the race in one of the most intense finishes Bristol has seen in years. At the line, Ty Gibbs held on by just 0.055 seconds. A first career Cup Series win at Bristol in overtime against two champions. Behind him, Blaney finished second. Larson crossed the line third after leading 284 laps. The result felt almost impossible based on how the race had unfolded. And after climbing out of the car, Larson didn't hide behind frustration or excuses. He broke it down exactly as it happened. The speed was there. The strategy was there early. But small mistakes, tire mismanagement, and late race execution all stacked up at the worst possible time. Blaney had the fastest car but was repeatedly set back by pit road issues. Larson had control but admitted the late stages slipped away due to adjustments and strategy chaos. And Gibbs simply made the right decision when it mattered most. Got crazy at the end, Larson said afterward. And that was the perfect summary of the race, because it wasn't just about speed anymore. It was about timing. It was about survival. And it was about who could hold on when everything broke loose. In victory lane, Gibbs stood surrounded by his family and team, emotional after finally breaking through for his first Cup win. Years of pressure, expectation, and criticism came to a head in one moment at one of NASCAR's toughest tracks. Even Blaney, who finished heartbreakingly close, acknowledged the significance of the win and gave respect where it was due. But beyond the celebration, the championship picture is now shifting. Blaney's pit crew struggles continue to cost him. Larson's winless streak now stretches past 30 races despite elite performance. And Gibbs has suddenly emerged as a real contender with momentum and confidence on his side. The season now moves forward to Kansas Speedway, a track where Kyle Larson has historically been strong and where he last won before this drought began. The speed is not the problem. The team is not the problem. The performance is not the problem. But Bristol proved something very clear. Winning in NASCAR is not about who leads the most laps. It's about who finishes when it matters most. And right now, Kyle Larson is still searching for that perfect race where everything finally comes together again. Because until that happens, even dominance is not enough.